FM 94, The Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know an artist we play here on The Dark. And on the phone tonight, I am talking with the guitarist from the band Breaking Benjamin, that being Keith Wallen. But the reason why we're talking to Keith, we'll talk about Breaking Benjamin down the road here a little bit. But Keith just released a brand new song, which we're spinning here on The Dark, called Dream Away. I'm digging the song. And I got to believe Central Minnesota is going to be digging it too. But before we get into that, I got to say, welcome to The Dark, Keith. How you doing, by the way?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, man, I appreciate all the support, man. It's awesome.
Hey, let's dig into, I guess, your background of music and, what got you, I guess, to become an artist? What was the, maybe is there somebody, something that said, hey, this is what I want to do for a career?
Yeah, well, my dad used to listen to Frank Sinatra all the time when I was growing up, and I have a deep love for that kind of music. But a little bit later, one of my good friends growing up, he had a guitar and started playing, and I'd come over to his house to hang out. And he'd be like, "Yo, you got to check out this riff. You got to check out this band, these songs, And I mean, it was everything from Metallica, Alice in Chains, all the greats. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. I gotta get a guitar so I can come over and we can jam. And so that's really kind of how it started. And I kind of just never put it down and just kept working. And years later, here I am still doing it.
Absolutely. And, I guess looking at the history, you've been in some bands prior to playing at Breaking Benjamin. You started off with a band, at least that I did some reading here, some research, a band in Tennessee called Coppered. And I remember a couple of those songs that actually hit the top 50. What was it like, I guess, to be in a band like that, starting out and then moving your way up?
Well, obviously, it's you don't really know what you're doing. You're just kind of like, well, hey, let's get together, let's write some songs and try to make a go of it. Obviously, we got to the point where we could, play regionally around the area and get our, we were fortunate to get our song on a few stations. Yeah, it was great. It was super exciting. It was super just a whole new experience, but. Touring and getting in the van and all that stuff, it definitely takes a toll on you after a while. But we had some great times, and it was a good way to kind of start things off.
Yeah, and it's hard to believe. I was looking back here at some of even the albums that came out in the early 2000s, and then I was going, wait a minute, that's already been 20 years ago. And that's kind of when you really started with those guys, too. It's been 20 years you've been rocking out now, haven't you?
I know. I'm old, man. It's like, I can't believe it.
You're a little younger than me, but that's okay. Hey, then you started, then after that, you got into a band with, actually was in Las Vegas, Rick DeJesus. I've had a chance to talk to him from Adelita's Way. How did you get hooked up with those guys?
Yeah, so that was through a few mutual friends. There was a friend I had that worked for a different label than the band was on. That kind of put me in touch with them, and then I had another friend that was kind of helping steer the just the whole the whole package of the band at the time. He was working for their label. I think he was their A&R guy at the time, but. So I was familiar with him, he was familiar with me, and kind of put us all in touch and was just kind of like, hey, these guys need a guitar player and a kind of a background vocalist. Is this something you'd want to do? And I was like, yeah. At that time, Copper was done. It was kind of, kind of run its course a little bit. So I was kind of, looking to do something. So I was like, why not? So went up, auditioned, and, after 4 years, it was a lot of good times, a lot of good shows, and again, I kind of reached a point where I was like, I just got to do something new and, try something else. But those guys are great. I still follow those guys and, still talk to them here and there. But super talented dudes, and they're still at it. So props to them.
And then I'm guessing your current gig kind of happened after the gig that you had with Adelita's Way and talking about Breaking Benjamin and, of course, the lead singer of Breaking Benjamin. Benjamin Burnley, he basically decided he wanted to start over with a new cast of musicians, and you were one of those, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. He reached out to me via Facebook after I kind of posted my resignation to Adelita's Way, and so we had done some touring with Breaking Ben over the years. I was with that band, so somehow he remembered me and saw my post and hit me up, and we just kind of started talking about getting together and audition and everything. So yeah,
and the rest is history, right? At least for that part.
That's right. That's right. And gosh, I mean, it's been almost 6 years now. I've been in this band, and it's crazy to me because it just seems like the cliche saying, it seems like yesterday I was just starting that thing with everybody. So
we're talking with Keith Wallen, the guitarist of the band Breaking Benjamin, and also a solo artist too, because he has a new song called Dream Away. And I guess that kind of leads into my next question. When did you, I guess, decide you wanted to start to go out on your own a little bit, or at least maybe do some side projects as a solo artist?
I would say probably maybe a few years ago. I mean, I've always loved writing songs. Whenever I'm not super busy with the band, I try to get with some other artists and try to put our minds together to come up with some cool stuff to potentially put out. And I think with my solo endeavors, it was kind of one of those things where I had a few songs and started putting them out, kind of gauge interest, and I'm like, why not put it out? It's kind of like we were kind of talking a little bit earlier. It's like I know there's going to be a day when I'm going to be too old to play guitar and too old to sing or anything, and I just want to do it while I can and do as much stuff as I can while I can. So.
And I noticed in some of the concerts that you do with Breaking Benjamin, Ben actually lets you sing, or you get to sing sooner or later. And it seems like that's kind of a big thing that you guys have done over the years. Has that maybe kind of got you the urge to get back in and do some solo stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. He's been so cool with us new guys. He's really gone out of his way to try to showcase us. And, super thankful for that. And plus, he gets to kind of have a break. He gets to have a little vocal break. And it's like, all right, let these guys kind of, pull the load for a little bit. So, but it's cool. And Aaron, the bass player, he does a lot of singing too. He's so great. I mean, he can do all those screams that I can't do. I've never been a screamer guy, but yeah, he's great. So we just try our best to kind of, do it justice and help out where we can.
Well, I tell you what, Keith, I did a little viewing last night of a couple of your songs that you've done, like covers. And when I saw you did Shallow from Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, I just about dropped my... It was crazy, the vocals that you had on that. Amazing vocals. So I don't know. I think you might be able to hit the high notes, even though you don't think you can.
Well, I appreciate that. That one definitely was tough. Yeah, I think Lady Gaga's probably got a little more range than me, but I gave it my best shot.
So let me ask, you do that. Have you ever had a chance to meet Lady Gaga, or maybe even any of the artists that you've done some covers for?
I have not, no. Obviously, I respect her work, and she's super talented. Yeah, never met her, never met Chris Isaac.
Right.
That was another cover I did, and of course, Roxette. Yeah, never got to meet him.
Not yet. Some of them.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, you kind of grasp onto some covers and that, and a lot of people do that, and then all of a sudden somebody says, hey, this guy can sing, let's do it. And I know you had an original song called Crows that, I don't know how well that did, but, the sound of that song really was a pretty sweet song. What was the inspiration behind that one?
Yeah, I've kind of had that demo around for a while, and it was one of those things where I was like, I should just polish this up and maybe put it out. Really, no real inspiration, no super, legitimate real thing. It's just kind of a mood I was in one day, and and I kind of liked the way it sounded, and I thought to myself, man, this could be potentially a cool video, and get some cool imagery in there. So that's really all I was thinking about at the time.
I tell you what, though, it's a great song, and I for our listeners that are hearing this, or for anybody that's listening, make sure you do type in Keith Wallen and then check out on YouTube these videos and his voice. It's amazing, and I'm not just saying that to suck up to you, because trust me, I talk to a lot of people, but you have an awesome voice, and I can see why Ben lets you sing every once in a while.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, let's talk about COVID-19, because that's really changed the whole music world, and for that matter, the whole world in general. But the music world, bands like Breaking Benjamin and, big bands are going out to, large venues and that, and all of a sudden last March, everything just stopped. What was it like, I guess, for you guys?
Oh, it was horrible. I mean, the whole thing. It was just incredibly disturbing and sad. I mean, obviously, and scary. But it's funny. We had just finished our tour last year, right at the beginning of March, rather. And I was home maybe a couple weeks. Just kind of watching the news kind of talk about it more and more, and then by the 15th of March everything was shut down, and it was like, oh man, it's real. And it's been terrible. But it's been a lot of time at home, quarantining and isolating from family and friends. It's been really tough, but I've been trying to stay positive with it and think to myself, look, I wouldn't have, and I'm sure a lot of these artists wouldn't have this amount of time to really sit and work on songs and work on new music. So I've been trying to just do that, just probably like everybody else has been doing.
So let me ask you, with COVID-19 happening, was this song Dream Away already in your repertoire, or did it happen during COVID-19 for the reason why you have this song out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I actually wrote it before all of this stuff happened. And it turned out to be a little bit of a prediction of things to come. Really, I just kind of was, inspired by just kind of, just feeling kind of down in the dumps. And man, if you could just get away and just kind of reach for, higher, better horizons, even if it's just in your mind, and just, it's like I watch movies. I love watching movies to just escape. It just puts you in a whole new kind of reality and frame of mind, and it's nice to kind of unplug from the world from a while. But yeah, the song was basically about that. And then, gosh, COVID happened, and I'm sitting here checking out the song, going over mixes and everything, and I was like, wow, this is kind of what's happening right now. So it was kind of weird.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking with Keith Wallen, the guitarist from the band Breaking Benjamin. His new song is called Dream Away, and we're spinning it here on The Dark, which we're going to hear in a few minutes. But I guess, moving forward from COVID-19, and hopefully now with a vaccine out, and, maybe it'll eventually die down here and things will kind of somewhat get back to normal. I guess, how do you envision the music scene, the music venues, the concerts and all that maybe here in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I really hope that, of course, I want everything to kind of come back to normal at some point in the safest way. I want it to be safe. And I just have a feeling once everything is going and firing back on all cylinders, I think people are going to be really excited to get back out there and watch shows. And likewise, just, same with, us bands. It's like we're dying to get back out and be able to, see our fans and connect with them. So just, fingers crossed that can happen sooner than later.
I've talked to bands the caliber of your bands that you're in. I talk to up-and-coming bands, and the one question I always ask is, how are you going to, I guess, survive, or I guess figure out a way to survive? And maybe with a band like Breaking Benjamin, you've got history, so it maybe, and you might have a few extra dollars in your bank account too, that it's maybe not as difficult as if a band starting up, but still nonetheless, there's going to be some changes in that. And I'm kind of curious to see, is the band like like Breaking Benjamin, a bigger band like a Five Finger Death Punch? Are they going to be willing to go into a venue and only have maybe 5,000 people there to start with, or just so they can play? Or are they going to be ones that would have to wait until there's more? It's just that's what I'm curious
Yeah,
on.
yeah, that's a good question. Like I said, if it's safe and we're able to do it, we're excited to get back out there. So,
Right.
Everything's up in the air at this point. We don't know when that's going to happen. We know that it is going to happen, hopefully. But there's just a lot of question marks, a lot of unknowns, and it's a fluid situation, and so we're just kind of keeping our eye out and watching. And I think once things get better and the powers that be say, hey, you guys got the green light, shows are going to happen, then at that point we'll kind of figure things out and try to get out there.
I gotcha. I noticed your bandmate Jason Rauch has been hanging out with Brian Welch, obviously from Korn, and they have the song "Love and Death" and their latest song "Down." Are you guys kind of competing, battling a little bit for the airspace of airwaves?
Well, what's funny, I actually I helped with the writing on that song.
Oh, you
so
did?
Really,
nice.
So I'm just like, hey, get that. Let's go.
Yeah, I want some royalties, right? I gotcha. I hope it does well, right?
Oh, absolutely. And we're all kind of working on our own little projects, during this downtime. And Jason has been such a supporter of everything I've done, and gosh, he's a great friend, super talented guy. So, any way I could have helped him out. And obviously I was overjoyed to be a part of that. And, I love, Brian and everything else too. So
Right.
It's been cool.
Hey, what do you think, I guess the, rock radio industry, I don't know how much you're up on it in that, but I guess what's the direction it's kind of going here? You said that back in the day you were listening to these certain bands and that, and sometimes it seems like the industry is a little bit kind of confused on which direction it wants to go. Or do you feel like it's going to kind of work itself out here in the long run?
Yeah, I really don't know. There's all kinds of formats. There's all kinds of things happening. I mean, gosh, even just the bands themselves are they're kind of trying to find, how do you describe their, I don't know, sound, and so many different little boxes and sections that people are, kind of put different types of music into. So I really don't know at this point. Like, I mean, even my song, I don't know if it's active rock, alternative, or whatever. It's like I just tried to write the coolest thing I could, and whatever people want to call it, that's cool with me. It's not up to me. So
yeah. So, you just sometimes you get pigeonholed into a certain thing, but yeah, I would agree. You could put that song in many different genres.
Yeah, hope so. I mean, whatever people feel. So
what
cool
is
with me?
Yeah, what's the? I guess with this song, are you looking to put together maybe an EP or something like that? What's the game plan for moving on?
Sure. Yeah, this is actually the first song from my first full-length album.
Okay.
So there's a whole album coming, and I'm hoping that that could be coming out sometime in the spring, late spring, early summer, or sooner. Again, that's kind of a fluid situation too, but we're just going to see how everything goes.
Well, it seems like a lot of artists kind of put on the brakes on everything because obviously normally when they put an album out, they like to go out and tour with the album.
Sure.
I mean, that's obviously what you do. But I've noticed now that people I've kind of said, you know what, I've been sitting on this for so long, I need to get it out. So we're starting to see a little of that, and I think there might be a little light at the end of the tunnel. Would you agree on that too?
Absolutely. And somewhat, I kind of waited a while too, because I wrote this song pretty much a year ago. I've been holding on to it for a while, but I just did not want to release it in 2020 because it's been such an awful year.
Right.
I just wanted to move on, start fresh, 2021, and so that's really what I was waiting on.
All right, I gotta ask. A lot of times I'll ask questions for up and coming bands. Which bands would you like to hang out with and go on tour and that? But I think you guys have done a lot of that with some big name bands and that. So I'm gonna actually ask you a question about something maybe people out there have no idea about you behind the scenes in Keith Wallen. Is there something out there that's not too incriminating that you can let the listeners know? That they really, that's what he does, or that's what he listens to, or this is what I mean, is there something out there you can let us know?
Sure, yeah. I mentioned this earlier. I love movies. Love them. It's just such a great escape. My wife always kind of makes fun of me because I always recognize actors.
Okay.
In different movies. I'm like, oh, he was in, blah, 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 blah. She's like, how do you know this? And I'm just like, one of those, my brain's full of just useless information that's not going to help me at all. but I remember certain things like that.
Okay. So do you have like favorite movie lines or something like that, or?
I mean, gosh, I don't know.
Okay. I don't want to put you on the spot here. So you kind of want to, would you be a rater guy, like a thumbs up, thumbs down, three tomatoes or whatever they have?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I could rate a movie.
There you go.
No problem.
Huh.
For example, here's a rating
Here we go.
that I'm willing to give. So the Predator franchise.
All right. Yep.
The first Predator movie is amazing. The last Predator movie that they put out, I don't know, a few years back, was horrible. Horrible. So, yeah, I was super disappointed. So that's my Keith Rotten Tomatoes review right there.
Isn't it always, though, the first movie's typically good, and when they put out the sequel, it's normally like, oh, whatever,
Yeah, but I mean, even some of those sequels were okay. There was the one with Danny Glover, and
right.
It was pretty good.
Yep.
And, there was
Die
one
Hards.
with,
there's different. Yeah, I got you. I hear you. I hear you. Well, there you go. Now we know that next time we see Keith Wallen, we can, not only is he a great singer, great guitarist, but also he knows his movies, too. He's a great critiquer. So, good. Thanks for that. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Hey, if more people want more information about your solo project, that is, Keith, where can they get that information?
So I am on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. My Instagram is @KJWallen, and my website is keithwallen.com. And, that's pretty much it, man. I got a YouTube, all that stuff, just playing the game best I can.
And I'd ask the question, too, but obviously we're in COVID-19 world. What's the touring situation look like? But just like everybody else, it's pretty much on hold, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
So hopefully maybe late summer, early fall, we can get back to something normal.
Yeah, I'd really love to get back out. I feel like a lot of people are, but so we'll see. Obviously, we're all kind of in our homes and we're all working on music and writing and stuff too. So, trying to take advantage of that while we can.
I'm going to have to save up all my money because there's going to be so many damn tours that I want to go see.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to just be crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think everybody's just ready to go. So
absolutely. Hey, Keith, so thanks so much for joining me on the program tonight. We're going to spin your latest song, Dream Away, okay?
Man, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Once again, that is Keith Wallen, obviously from Breaking Benjamin, but I tell you what, he's one hell of a singer. Here's his latest song. It's called Dream Away. It's on The Dark. It's on FM 94.